Why do birds suddenly appear over there, over here? God damn. Fun. I've never seen a supernova explode before, but if it's anything like my old Chevy Nova, it'll light up the night sky. I don't think I was supposed to do it that way. Ah! Ah! Oh my god, that's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, you do just bounce. If people watch The Simpsons anymore, I grew up with The Simpsons. By the time internet meme culture got a hold of The Simpsons, I was like, I'd already seen that. We were laughing at steamed hams back in like 2007. We were all steamed hams. Like we grew up. I grew up on The Simpsons. I haven't watched it in years because everything after, and I'm being generous here, season 9 is the end of The Simpsons. I will let it go to season 11. Because there are occasionally some funny moments, but yeah, me and The Simpsons go way back. Simpsons quoting is just like a part of my grammar now. You know what I mean? Like I use Simpsons quotes as stand-ins for just ideas. Like if I'm talking to someone and I say something but they don't hear me. And like they go, what? And I'm not saying anything important. I'll just be like, that tree is far away. Yeah. See, I mean, season 11, I feel is being generous. They pretty much, it's still going, but it also ended. It's kind of both. It's still going, but as like a zombie of itself. That's what they refer to it. The fan base refers to it as zombie Simpsons because it pretty much has been stripped of everything that made it interesting. The Simpsons died when Maude died. That was like 11 or 12. I think the final episode of season 9 is the, shall we say, dev intended ending for The Simpsons. They were joking about their own longevity in season 9. They ended season 9 with a joke that was basically, how long can this possibly go on? That was the entire joke of the end of season 9 was, how long can we possibly keep this going? And yeah, we never did get Marge as a robot, did we? But we did get some crazy weddings. But how about a crazy wedding? Yeah, when they're like, never fear, we've got stories for years. That's pretty much them saying, look, we've done everything we possibly could, but we're going to keep going because, yeah, but, you know, that's basically them saying to the fans, like, hey, it's over, but we're going to be a zombie now. And so that's why I put season 9. Season 9 is like, they ended it. Like, they ended it themselves. You know what I mean? That's like the dev intended ending. It was a threat. You're damn right it was. You're damn right it was. Don't threaten me, Simpsons. Oh, crud. And also, I agree. The original season Homer was better. Early Homer was best Homer. Homer was the first character to get Flanderized. Maybe apart from Flanders. No, not even Flanders. Homer got Flanderized before before everything. When they turned Homer into more of an antagonist, the fandom refers to it as jerk-ass Homer. That was, yeah, pre-jerk-ass Homer. They changed his character. Homer originally wasn't... He was lazy. That was his primary character trait. He wasn't a complete freaking idiot. He was lazy. He just didn't want to. He would prefer to not do anything. He would prefer to just sit and drink a beer. But he wasn't an antagonist. In fact, he was kind sometimes, genuinely cared, and had moments of lucidity where he was like, they're trying to show you that he's not as dumb as you think he is. He's just lazy. He just doesn't want to. But then, as the season progressed, they kept getting him into these more wacky situations where he became a jerk, a mean, dumb antagonist. And that was the beginning of the end, honestly. Yeah, I'll be real. I saw one episode. I watched an episode of the new Simpsons. I watched one just to see how bad is it, and wow, it was awful. I expected it to be bad. It was really bad. It was so horrible. Honestly, it was like, what am I even watching? This isn't even The Simpsons. Like, it's another show that kind of looks like The Simpsons, acts like The Simpsons. The HD was uncanny. Just weird. Just weird to see. It's like that Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing, you know? It looks like The Simpsons. It kind of acts like The Simpsons. It's wearing the skin of The Simpsons, but it ain't The Simpsons. The one I saw was Marge became the mayor. She replaced Mayor Quimby, and it was bad. It was real bad. It was super bad. And that's the only one I've watched, and I can't, man. I won't. It's just awful. It's really, really awful. Woohoo! 3-day weekend! Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Right? Yeah, Zabdor. Yeah, I hear you there. Like, I'm sure people are watching the current Simpsons, but I don't know who they are. Yeah, exactly. I really, like, sincerely do not know who they are. Because, like, we talk about the Simpsons a lot on stream, and in all of that time, in what, like 6 years full time, no one has ever come out and been like, you know what? I like the new Simpsons. I know it's not the same, but I really enjoy it. And that's cool. If someone wants to stick up for that, that's cool. Hey, all right, man. Sweet. That's your jam. Have fun. I wish I could too. But yeah, I have never met a soul who actually likes the new Simpsons. You know one, Similarians? Thoughts on the Simpsons movie? I remember when it came out, as a big Simpsons fan, I was very excited. I watched it with friends. It was okay. It was just a long episode of the show. It wasn't like... I don't know. Yeah, I think it would have been it could have been a lot funnier than it was. I don't think it was very funny. I didn't get a lot of like laughs out of it as much. It was just like, yeah, it was good. It was okay. Simpsons were in it. Okay, going off the edge won't kill you. Did anyone else read that that interview with John Swartzwelder that finally came out? That was very illuminating to me. They were comedy writers. They were making jokes And when people are all like, well, what about the lore and the character? They didn't care. They did not care. They were not interested. They were not interested. For what I got out of that interview was they were in no way interested in like the emotional lives of Edna Krabappel or something. They had no need for that. They were writing jokes. That's like primarily what I got out of that. Like, John Swartzwelder was a comedy writer. They were funny. They were trying to be funny. That was the point. Well, I guess, like, since he was never in the writer's room, yeah, but just, like, the way he talked about it, it seemed like his primary focus was on being funny and not necessarily telling a story, exploring the characters, doing things that the fans have often clamored for or read into. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't really writing characters. They were writing a funny joke for a funny situation. And at that, they succeeded better than anybody, right? Wait, I don't want this. It'll kill me. Yeah, it'll kill me. Like, I read the, I don't know, I follow some Simpsons Twitters and crap. And the one, they posted a version of the script. The, a Milhouse Divided, where Kirk and Luann get divorced. The scene where they're playing Pictionary and Kirk can't draw dignity. That I read. Someone posted like it was like the original script for that. It wasn't the like after the rewrites. And I read it, and then I compared it to the version of the dialogue that actually like made it into the episode. It was so much better in the episode. It really was. They punched that up so much. Like from a crappy draft that wasn't very funny, had some jokes in it, but they punched that up masterfully. And that was like, it was just illuminating to me because it's like, that's what they were trying for. I'd like to know what was the intent? What was someone going for when they made this or that? I don't know why this memory comes back to me, but I think in like high school or college or something, we had to do one of those team building things, and we all got into groups, and we had to build you had to make like a sculpture out of Play-Doh, but you couldn't communicate to each other about what it was, so you had to like decide what to make and then make it without talking, and our team made a computer because I pointed at the computer and everyone's like shook their heads, and then I pointed at the keyboard and I pointed at someone else, and I like delegated all the tasks just by pointing at things, and our team won that competition by a goddamn mile. Everybody else had like these half-made sculptures that didn't look like anything, and we had like a perfect computer with like a monitor and a tower and everything, and we just held up our thing like, yes, we win. It was awesome.